All right, everyone. This is very rare, but welcome to an MG Saturday Night Rogue broadcast with myself, TJ, the usuals, and AJ, and everyone's favorite fag, Aaron Clary.
Good to
There
be
goes
here.
terms of
Happy to be
service.
here. Thank
Just
you,
completely-
thank you, AJ. $20.
Yeah, just
I got
complete-
that shirt here. I got the $20 is $20 shirt here.
That's
worn that.
like my claim to fame of memes.
Did you see the one that I tagged Aaron in? It was like some candle eat my ass for like $20 for like $2. I'm like, oh, that must be tough. 90% off.
I think I did see that. That's
Anyway,
pretty funny.
I have to get back to defending myself and
You have
explain.
to defend yourself. Yes, go ahead.
Well, since all of us here are authors, but let me explain you why I like using and. If you go through my book reviews, like the stars, the Audible is usually at least half a star or more higher than the written, whether it's Kindle or paperback. And the reason why is I write the way I talk. And when you look at the way you talk, you always say and. And so if you're listening to an audiobook, it's very natural, very conversational. Whereas when I've written the reading book, what you've written, if there's not a conjunction of some kind, it's just too jarring. It's statement, declarative, presumption, conclusion. I like more, maybe it's the way the British talk, therefore, thus, and hitherto. Like you got to connect.
Henceforth and heretofore.
I think I use furthermore a lot in my book.
Yeah, no, it might suffer because Vince and TJ, you guys are more well read than I am.
That's true.
And that might be jarring to you reading it, but if you listen to it, it's a lot better, I would say.
Okay. Do you agree with that, TJ?
Gay. It makes sense if you're doing a narration and you're reading it and
see, he's doing. I'm just pointing out.
No, but that is in the middle of a sentence. That is a conjunction that is combining two sentences into one. It's not starting.
That's starting a sentence. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, you can. The rules have been lax over the years, especially the past couple decades. But you should not overuse it. Which I think you're making the observation, TJ, that Aaron Clary overuses the word "and" in the beginning of a sentence.
And
this is why it's bad. And this is why.
Well, let me ask you guys this: you guys write fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a different ball of wax than nonfiction, and perhaps a lot of the writing is due to the fact that I'm essentially doing a logical theorem. I'm making a case, right? Whatever thesis supporting exhibit A, B, C, and D. Maybe they're combined. I got to combine them together. Perhaps it's more of I'm presenting a case, and here's some more evidence, and this is also related to that, but therefore it would be different.
So it's like it's almost like a math or syllogism or a math equation where you're adding a lot of numbers up. This plus this plus this plus this, but the and is the plus.
Yes, that's a very good way of putting it. Correct.
That makes sense. Where it's basically a really long syllogism, which is funny because I've listened to discussions about the book, and people argue with the conclusions. They don't argue with the premise. And the problem with a syllogism is if you don't dispute the premise, that's a bit of a problem if you're going to argue with the conclusion, which I've always found very interesting, especially with the menu or whatever it was. That one was the one that got pushed back. And when I've shown it to people and I go, do you dispute the statistics in the book where they're talking about the number of single people? Nobody disputes that. I'm like, okay, you are disagreeing with the solutions being provided, but you're not arguing that the problem does not exist. But they're arguing as if the solutions are creating the problem, which I found very fascinating because I've even seen you on some podcasts. I won't name any names, but I remember listening to one. I'm like, they're kind of arguing with like you're arguing with your suggestions or recommendations, but they're not arguing with the actual problem. And then till halfway through the podcast, they're like, "Is this an actual problem?" It's like, yes.
But at this stage of the game, do you guys care if anyone like it's their responsibility? It's like, okay, you didn't take my recommendations. I don't care. You can go do whatever you think you got to do.
I think the problem is it's not a if it's the people who are arguing, it's not their problem. And this is this is something I've learned the hard way where I'm getting older and more cynical is for most people, if it's not their problem, it's not just if it's not their problem, it's not just that it's not their problem. It doesn't even exist for them. They don't. It's like somebody in Kansas saying, "I don't understand why someone in Florida needs to board up their house on a certain day," and then they say, "Because I've got a hurricane coming." Like, I don't understand. I don't have to deal with a hurricane. Okay, well, you live in Kansas. You deal with tornadoes. I deal with hurricanes and tsunamis. Well, I don't have to deal with a hurricane. I don't know.
Right. I don't think it. I think at this age, you should be a stoic and bordering on a misanthrope at this point in time. Not because you don't understand. Oh, yes, they need a shielded door for the hurricane that's coming. I understand that, and they should do that. Whether they do it or not, I don't care. A mentally healthy population would board up for a hurricane, but Americans are getting so stupid and so dumb now. You will go super depressed and angry if you start worrying about whether people are doing the thing they should. And so it's helped me a lot. You
can't worry about outside of your friend group and your family group. Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, on one hand, it's like, I tune stuff out. On the other hand, when we're in the point when it's threatening the infrastructure or the grid stability, or they're voting in people who legitimately will take a state back to the Stone Age, I can't control the outcome of elections, but I do have to deal with the consequences. And as people in California who have to deal with blackouts, and as people in my state are going to have to deal with when they banned gasoline vehicles in 2030, like these are things that people have to deal with at some point. So it's not just the whole dating thing. It's also just other things in life where you really have to deal with the effects of other people's decisions, because other people's decisions do affect you. And the idea that people don't really, everybody's like disconnected. That's not true. It's not how.
No, there are things that you have to worry about. Like, you should be looking at solar panels, or frankly, moving out of the Washington area to avoid these people. I mean, I take matters into my own hands when I can. But when for example, even though you're just one vote, the way you vote at the national elections does affect me, even though you and I are not in the same state. But all this gay butt sex you have with Rurb, that doesn't affect me, and it's having the intelligence and the wisdom to be stoically accept that I don't care how many cases of herpagona syphilis that you get from Rurb or give to Rurb. That's not my problem. But I understand your point. But at that point, okay, you do your vote, you do the one thing you can do to affect the outcome, but then you take action like I have. I make sure that I got battery backups, and I got weapons and ammo, and precious metals, and you take insurance policies and things like that. But all I am focusing on is the unnecessary worry or frustration that comes with not getting people to agree with an argument that I've presented, especially when here's one good principle or philosophy to have: always make sure you're right. Remove all your emotions, remove your politics, make sure you are 100% right, or as right and informed as one can be. Make your statements, present your thesis, present your argument. And if people are going to argue with that, guess who's going to lose? I'll give you another perfect example that doesn't involve gay sex with Rob. Take fat women, for example. Right now, the current cultural zeitgeist is that how dare you mention fat women? Big is beautiful and you're shallow. I don't have to lift a finger to win that argument. I don't. Fat is horrible for all people, whether it's health, sex, romance, psychology, diabetes. I'm not going to argue with someone who says, I'll make the fact overweight women are unattractive and unhealthy. It's a fact. You want to argue with that? Fine. Go argue with a wall, because I'm not even going to engage with you at that time.
How dare you?
I know. Vince, you dick.
I have a brilliant screenshot with your eyes real wide, too. It's gonna be
Oh, good.
fantastic.
Is this the only reason you invited me here?
Pretty
To get
much.
fucking meme material. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, of course not.
Hey,
We
real
love
quick
your
before I
presence.
forget, TJ, did you get that cameo thing that Vince paid for?
No.
Yeah, I
You
think
didn't-
it's because I didn't include his email address.
Oh, all right. So you have to
have to-
include his email address to
I
receive it.
think so. Rather than just his name, I have to put his email address too. So
Imagine that. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
They
I
were
had
just
no
talking
idea.
about it before you got in to the
I thought
backstage.
maybe you could add it to send as well. Like that was an option for you, but apparently not.
No, because I mean, you and I and TJ all know each other, so I would theoretically have his email. But like some rando in my audience wants me to do it, and oh yeah, my buddy Bill. I don't have Bill's email or whatever like that.
Well,
so.
if I'm the one that paid for it, so I still get the link. I could forward that on, download it, and forward that on if I wanted to.
Cool.
Which I'll
right.
send that to TJ later. Yeah.
This is completely unrelated to this and Aaron Clary's, gay predilections, but have you guys, and not really related to our anthology, we can talk about that in a few seconds, but I'm just curious, have any of you guys been watching Landman with Billy Bob Thornton? Okay, Cappy, you've got it.
Review of it.
You've got it. I'm not claiming that this is a great show, but it's kind of
What's
the
it called?
opposite. It's called Landman, and it's
Landman.
basically it's about the oil fields in West Texas during this recent boom, and it has got some of the best witty dialogue I've ever seen. The people are dysfunctional as hell. His wife is hot but crazy, but there's like, I'll give an example. The first episode, Billy Bob Thornton is puffing on a cigarette, and he's got this overweight coworker of his who's sitting there eating chips and saying, you're gonna die from those cigarettes. And Billy Bob Thornton turns to him and says, yeah, you know that they smoke cigarettes in Italy and Japan and this other country, and all they do is just sit around, eat, drink, and have sex? You know what they also don't have? Cancer. It's that sugar and processed food that's going to kill you.
Pretty much.
And then there's this, in the same episode, or maybe this is the second or third one, he goes out to this this wind turbine farm that powers the oil wells because there's no electrical power out there. And he's just lecturing this Gen Z lawyer boss bitch about how much carbon it took to build these things. And he's like, it won't offset the carbon. In 20 years, it will not offset the carbon it took to build it. And he's talking about how, like, it's just funny how it's kind of it's the opposite of like Yellowstone in terms of some of the characters where you're kind of sympathetic to them in a sense because they live hard lives. But the dialogue is so witty. It's worthwhile. It's probably the only TV show I've watched, like binge watched since Mandalorian.
Okay. No, I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's just really more an issue of time.
Well, and the other thing is about the show that it really, because I've known this from personal experience, if you're over a certain income level, you are kind of living on Mount Olympus compared to the rest of us normal people, where they don't really live the life of a mortal. And it's kind of difficult to explain, but I think the biggest distinction is their homes are not, they're not private residences. They're kind of like community centers where you can have random people walking through your house at all hours. And you
mean
have
like a man camp? Is that what you're talking about in the show?
No. I'm talking about like you have a mansion that's so big, you don't know who's in your house at any time because you're on your private jet, you show back up. Your daughter's there with a whole bunch of party people. Your wife's having a cocktail party near the swimming pool with a bunch of her friends. And some other random guy that you know is bringing his friends over. And you have so much money and you have 3 different homes. It doesn't matter. You have no privacy. That's kind of what I've seen in my own life. But I also was watching because I'm like, this one guy was going through this mansion and there's just all these parties going on. And the guy is like off doing who knows what the hell.
Reminds me of like when Hank Reardon comes back to his house and there's a party in it.
In what movie was that?
No, well, they made a movie. Oh, for Christ's sake, Atlas Shrugged.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I didn't read the book, that fucking shit's way too long, but they came out with movies and so
It's pretty dry too. Like I attempted to read it as a libertarian. It's just like, this is hard.
Since we're going on literature, that is my biggest problem with people who talk about Ayn Rand's books. Her philosophy books were far more readable. They were shorter, and honestly, her All But We the Living was her only decent novel. The rest of them are just freaking like her philosophy stuffed into dialogue in
like
these
soap opera form.
soap opera forms. I'm like, sweetheart, you do not need to
That's
write
annoying.
a 500-page book to make a point when you. And then she writes the philosophy books. I'm like, guys, if you've read her philosophy books, which I have all the copies of, you don't need to read her fiction because All But We the Living basically said the exact same thing. Atlas Shrugged has a 50-page long speech. No one is listening to that in real life. Like, it just, do you think anybody's going to listen to 5 minutes of the speech where they're like, why do I have to listen to this? And
Dude, I
now.
agree with you.
No.
Because like that Lord of the Rings books, way too fucking long. I'm thank God. And you knew they were going to make movies out of it, so you wouldn't have to read the books.
Well,
Nice
I'm
to
gonna
myself.
confess, I've never read any of the Lord of the Rings books, and that's kind of why. I've just heard so many people say how far into detail it goes on stuff. I'm like, guys, I want to read a fantasy. This is what I like about pulp, and we can kind of, this is a good transition.
Segue into that, yeah.
What I like about pulp is it doesn't waste your time with backdrop or exposition. It's not trying to build a world. It's just saying, hey,
You just dropped into action.
yes, you're dropped into action as soon as it begins. Now, granted, one of my stories in the anthology has a little bit of exposition, and I felt like that was kind of necessary for the book because it would have gotten a little too weird if you didn't have background. But also, it's very much an action-driven book, and it doesn't spend a lot of time talking about the main character's backstory. It's just you don't know a whole lot. You don't even know his name in my book, or at least in my story. Now, the Amos Cavendish one is classic pulp. That's actually one. I was talking to Vince about this today earlier. It's kind of one of my favorites because it's such a twist on the whole like classic horror cult, small village.
You're
cult.
not. It's not what you expect at the end. It's a good
It's a
story.
little, yeah, it's a good because I was like,
Yeah.
it builds
It's a
up.
nice twist.
Everything builds up into you thinking that something's going to happen, and then
It's
it
a complete
doesn't.
180. Like what? But it's not jarring. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, I hate you."
You,
No,
you didn't pull an
it's
M. Night
very good.
Shyamalan, did you?
So what?
No, he
Yeah.
didn't. No.
Okay.
No.
I
Such a
didn't pull.
twist.
I didn't pull what?
An M.
M.
Night
Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
No, literally the opposite.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how
It's still
Uh,
contextual.
it has the same character from the Pilgrim's Digress, which is basically the Handmaid's Tale, except the leaders are the good guys. And in this story, it's like I don't want to say the village, but it's kind of like this cloister community. And I'm not going to give away too much.
No, shh, quiet. Just you could
Let's
tell
buy the
them,
damn
TJ,
book.
tell them about the MG Pulp Anthology.
Well, it's a collection of pulp stories where we're trying to write stories that are pulp fiction, but they're written in a way that's going to make sense for a modern reader. So we're writing it for people who live in the year 2025 now, and not in the year 2005, not people who live in 1912, which is when Princess of Mars was released, because some of these books were written in a style and prose that's maybe a little outdated, and also just they require context. I mean, a lot of them do because a lot of them, they were written at a specific time, and they assume that the reader would know things that they may not know now. So we're writing for stuff that you really don't have to know a whole lot. I mean, at least for one of my stories, you do have to know maybe the backdrop a little bit, but I provide it within the opening scene. You know what the context is, and I give you enough. I mean, you go buy the book because hopefully you'll want to do that, but because I've read a lot of old pulp, and some of it's great, it stands up. Some of it's a little dated, and not because it was dated at the time, but just not all pulp makes it into the 21st century unscathed. And so the other problem is, or the thing that goes on now is, for some reason other than fantasy, nobody wants to read lengthy novels anymore. People are not reading literary fiction over a certain length. And pulp, the nice thing is you really don't have to spend a lot of time thinking or over analyzing. Everything's on the surface. There's not a lot of deeper meaning that you're not going to sit there and try to break down.
All pulp is all dialogue and action.
Yeah,
every chapter, every section has action and witty dialogue, nice, really cool banter.
Would your Malone and Tesla fall into that category, you think, then?
The second one, the first one sort of. The second one definitely. That'll be out probably the second one will be out in February.
2038?
No, this year.
This year. Oh, okay.
This year. Late February, early March. The MG Pulp anthology that TJ is referencing will be out within 2 weeks.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's got a great cover. The formatting inside will be very good, and there's going to be my novella and 3 short stories, lengthy short stories. 1 by Noble Brown and 2 by TJ. It clocks in at about 170 pages. So it's meaty for a pulp anthology, but they're quick reads, and I think you're going to enjoy them.
And they're going to be better than most of the stuff coming out anyway.
Oh, that's how we're going to market it too.
Yeah.
I do want to do a mini marketing campaign on this.
Bullshit.
Will it have unashamed big tits and masculine men?
You're gonna love my detective story.
Okay.
Laser dicks. Yes.
Against the forces of slope.
Against the forces of slope. Yes. SLOPE.
Oh my God.
And it's funny because I opened it up. You don't know what city it is. You assume it's on Earth, and it's sort of a 1940s, 1950s setting, but the technology includes lasers and hovercraft, but still old world technology too, like telephones, typewriters, and zeppelins.
Yeah.
So it's and there is a character named Butch who talks like that. Yes.
Aww.
There is a Chicago typewriter, a Tommy gun involved. There's some magic, some dames, some nightclubs. You're even referencing it, Aaron. I give a homage to you.
Is it in the gay district or somewhere? Where's the punchline? What's the joke?
I'll let you read it. I'll highlight it for you and give you a signed copy. So.
I will say, I don't know how much you guys have paid attention to the literary market. I was talking to Old Man Rollo, and I've noticed it in my books, but the book sales have gone down significantly, especially the longer the books. So I think TJ's right. You look at anything over 300 pages is probably not going to sell, and that's kind of good for us writers because I don't like long books. I don't like writing.
That's why I like the novella style, and the novella is going to clock in anywhere between 18 to 25, 30,000 words, maybe 30, maybe 40. Mm-hmm. An official book starts at about 50,000. A novel, full-length novel. I do like the short form. Our anthology. There's no woke bullshit. It's sexist. It's raw. It's gritty. Nice. There's dames in it. There's in fact TJ's. So Laser Dicks is myself, TJ, and Rob. We're detective. we're detectives.
This is going to be a gay story. Okay.
Unfortunately for you, Aaron, no, it's not. But there is you are in it in a gay capacity. Yes.
Am I really? Am I in it again? Dude, I can't wait to get out because I'm trying to explain to my old man like the world I work in. Basically,
you're in trouble.
Well, no, but he's understanding it, but like guys in the locker room are guys. The greatest lineup since Jack Murphy went.
Nick's just pissed that we didn't invite him.
God damn. That's savage. I have no comeback for that one.
Is Jack Murphy the guy with the beard?
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
he's the one that had the heartfelt "fuck you" meltdown because
Yeah, that guy.
Ryan sent in the super chat asking about it.
Anyway,
awesome.
I'm trying to explain to him like there is a camaraderie of guys,
Yeah.
quote unquote, behind the scene because it's on the internet. And I'm trying to explain, like, imagine a digital locker room. That didn't work. It really
much.
didn't work.
It
So,
didn't work. You didn't get it.
so if I got a book that you wrote, you
Yes.
know, and I get it in physical book and I mail it to my dad and I highlight like, here, this is what my buddy did to me. Like, remember when I like, you know, to TJ and Vince, me or gay love never be questioned by society, like the dedication. Like he understood that. So I think he'll
okay. So he'll get the written word. He'll love this. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You are the gay owner of a nightclub called the Manosphere.
This is great. This is great.
There's a brief reference, very brief reference. So like a little nod and shout out to you.
All right. That's all right. I still got a lot of books left to write, Vince, and I haven't even started on my fiction writing.
Have at it. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
You're going to be like, who was the director of The Birds? Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock. He always had a cameo.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock would always had a cameo appearance in his own movies. You're going to have that in every one of my book, and there's going to be some depraved act being either committed upon you or you committing upon someone else.
Trust me, you're going to be in all the Laserdisc novels.
I can't wait.
And in various different forms, yes.
That's
what my last thought on. What's that, AJ? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say after book 2, the next thing for me is probably to venture into fiction. I have not done it yet. Granted, one self-help book and then followed up with the other one being the explanation of why I did a self-help book, so you understand my entire background. It's my tell-all.
Did you find it? Did you find the second book easier to write than the first?
I'm in the process of writing the second book right now, and yes and no, because I had a little help thanks because it was part of Thor's group writing the first book. So yeah, you shit on me all you want. Yes, I used ChatGPT to help me out with writing it, but it is my own words. Like I went back through, rewrote everything as far as like, hey, no, I don't like that. That's not my language. Let me correct that here and there. This one is purely the only time ChatGPT or an AI will touch it is just for grammar. So I got 14 pages in and I have it all outlined. So it's gonna be about 100-ish pages this time around instead of 240
Aaron, did you check
pages.
your Twitter?
No, hang on. I'll tweet you guys out. Let me take a look at this.
Please do, but take a look at. I just tagged you a little while
Okay,
ago.
I can't wait. It's sad when this is what you look forward to. It's like what insults did your friends?
Oh.
Hang on.
Look, your expression is
What's
hysterical.
Good freaking what the hell?
I gotta see this now.
Look at this.
I can send this out. This is great.
Yeah, Aaron, I like black dick and Clary.
Vince is being a dickhead.
I see the one
As
why
usual.
Aaron never visits Russia.
The gay getting fined for being too gay.
Yeah, and then I see the what the fuck Aaron with his eyes wide open.
Get it all.
Expression's
guys,
awesome.
Get it all out. Hang on. I gotta. Hang on. Go ahead. I'm looking something up here.
All right. But
Oh, he's trying
There.
to do that.
Okay, I just want to look that up. You are ranked 6.914381 million.
yeah,
loan
it's
and Tesla.
horrendous.
Yeah,
it's horrendous. I don't care. I wrote it and I'm done. It's fine.
It's kind of like if Aaron
All out of your system.
it's kind of like if Aaron was to put his photo online and see how attractive he was compared to 6 million.
Oh, the Am I Hot or Not website.
Photo feeler.
Is there negative numbers on that?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Anything below a 4 or a 5 on photo feeler is considered a negative number.
Oh, is it okay?
What's photo feel?
Photo feeler. It's a website where you can upload your pictures and then test them for like business or for dating apps.
Really? So it's kind of like Hot or Not, but a computer algorithm?
Yeah. It sends it like other people get to vote on it, and it gives like certain areas like, is this realistic? Is this attractive? And then people can comment
Is
which
this
should
for
smile
you?
more.
Is this too gay? That's your question. Is it too gay?
Yeah,
You all want to have a little bit of a competition here. You all want to post your picture up, see who gets the higher score here, Mr. Talkie People. You want to, get your best
How do you
picture.
say Freundleben? Freundleben.
Freundleben.
We'll do a Jerry Lewis one, and then we'll do a normal
Freundleben.
one.
Talking the do. How do you walk?
Have
Don't want the loud thing and make with the whisper talk.
have you guys to test your nerdiness? Do you guys remember the cartoon Venture Brothers?
Oh yeah, as a play on Johnny Quest.
yeah. I remember it. Never watched it.
So that came out in the early 2000s, and I didn't have money or time. Now I got money and time. I'm like I probably told Vince before, I'm in like a 30% retirement cruising speed right now until I'm dead.
Mhm.
So I finally have time to catch up on all this shit. So I bought the entire Jin Thomas series, the entire
cool.
Venture Brothers series. I'm going through it now. And that is so well done
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah.
so clever. Yeah.
It's very
I
much
think-
like the old Johnny Quest.
right, but with cursing and swearing and
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
blood and
It's
gore.
for the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
I was on Adult Swim. It's meant to be
Yeah.
an adult.
Well, that's what I
cartoon.
liked about Johnny Quest is the orchestration was great, the music, and then characters, the bad guys. There was always a bad guy who was very racist, and they died. It was fantastic,
It's like old James Bond.
pretty much, just in cartoon form.
Yeah, you mix some elements of the Tick in there, and then you get
Oh, yeah?
Venture Brothers. Yeah, you ever see the Tick?
No, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, watch the Tick. It's
Is that live
It's
or
not-
animation?
animation. These are all cartoons. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
if
okay.
we were to go up there, like not like with Bugs Bunny and something truly cartoonish, but quality cartoons, I'd say at the top is Black Dynamite, which
Black
is
Dynamite.
just fucking hilarious. Then tied for second would be Venture Brothers and Archer.
Oh,
Ooh,
I love
Archer's
Archer.
good.
Archer's
Yeah,
fantastic.
but that's the whole Adult Swim Cartoon Network kind of genre.
You still were
Okay.
Jobs, and they won our language too.
Boondock Saints is also, or not Boondock Saints, but the Boondocks is also another good
Oh yeah,
cartoon.
that was a decent, very socially aware cartoon.
Yeah, of the inner city life. I'm like, it's actually pretty good.
I would like to start watching. I never got to watch Samurai Jack either.
Ooh, Samurai Jack's a
That's
classic.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then, unfortunately, when I started going to college, the original Batman animated series that was about
Oh,
halfway
yeah.
done. And so there's a bunch of episodes I haven't seen. So
I have
Yeah,
these
that's
I'm gonna
great.
finally get my geek on, like a retired geek, and just buy all the fucking DVD sets, sit and
That's
binge
cool.
watch them, have
I
my
would
woman walk
recommend-
around in some fucking heels and lingerie and spank that ass. And
You're
then,
gonna wear heels and laundry while you watch them.
no, I'm going to have my woman wear the heels.
Oh, okay. As well, you should. Yes, that's the
Yes,
only
as
proper
she
way
will.
to be served while you're watching those cartoons and such. That's cool. That'll be a fun time.
I'd also recommend Metalocalypse while you're at it.
Metal Aquable.
Is that with the band? And
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get
I-
into that. It was
They finally ended it, like because Adult Swim actually owned the rights instead of the creator of the show, and they went off in 2013. They did a 1-hour rock opera special that was actually pretty good, and then it went away for like 10 years, and the fans were just bitching so much that Adult Swim finally caved and said, "All right, Brendan, make us the series finale," and they released it last year. Really well done. Like it ended the show in a very good way.
good. They don't always pull that off. Like the finale isn't always a good send off. It's kind of like our writers are burnt out and we're out of ideas.
Like Battlestar Galactica, the remake they did in the early
Game
2000s.
of Thrones, Battlestar Galactica,
that was-
Seinfeld.
Cappy, that was the difference between all those shows and Cowboy Bebop, because the guys who created Cowboy Bebop already had the ending in mind. So it already was going to have a finite number of episodes, and it ends very much before anything goes kind of haywire in terms of the plot. And this is why I think it's got this lasting power over the years, is because it stopped before it got out. It had an ending in mind. Whereas a lot of TV shows, it's like, where is this going? You know, like, what is the end result? And, you know, there's like, this is kind of a storyteller's trick, is when you write a story, you need to know what the ending is before you write the beginning. Because if you don't, you end up floundering because you don't know what the character development is. Like, where are they headed?
Well, especially now that we've seen the media collapse and you start to see just some horrific movie, especially what Disney's done with sequels and prequels and extensions and tangents. You probably would not be shocked just how many TV show writers and movie writers. I mean, a movie, yeah, you have to have a plot, but TV show writers, no, they just wing it. They don't know where it's going. And I've never understood that as a writer, how you could write a sitcom and not have an arc or an overall plot and know where it's going to end. And I don't know if you guys have watched The Boys. If you see, that you could just tell there's so many plot holes and contradictions. They're just writing schlock now. They got a really great premise. They didn't know where the hell they were taking it. I think they thought maybe it would last 2 seasons. All shouldn't ship around whatever season 4 now.
Yeah, they just finished season 4.
Thanks, Vince. Thank you. It's you can't watch it because it's lost its way and it's not congruent or consistent. It has no integrity anymore.
I just watch it for the gratuitous violence and tits.
What's that?
I just watch it for the gratuitous violence and the tits now.
Right. Well, and that's as long as you don't pay too much attention to the plot. Yeah. But to get to TJ's point, it is shocking what writers, like professional writers, get away with now. Like, just if I was running a studio or financing one of these films, I'm like, no, you're going to have a very clear idea where this is going. You don't get to write 3 episodes and then figure out the 4th as you go along. Like, absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
So I'm trying to grab one of my books, and I cannot seem to find it among the many books that I have.
Oh, but it's back to Clary's point with having the start and finish like already pre-planned. Game of Thrones is a good example. They went beyond the books. Martin doesn't even know where the fuck he's going to end it because he hasn't released his last 2 books yet.
He's like completely off the rails with that shit.
Well, and he's busy with Elden Ring and Elden Ring sequel.
So this character's in the anthology, and this is because this is a book that Cappy's reviewed. This would make a great, it's so funny. I've said this to people in the church culture. You want to make a good Christian, or not? I don't even want to say Christian film, but a film that would be interesting for them. This would be a good book to make into a movie, but they're never going to make it because it deals with stuff that they don't want to deal with, and that's part of the problem that they're right. I mean, so there's mainstream cultural problems, and we could talk, and maybe that's a completely separate episode topic, but like one of the problems with religious art in terms of literature and writing and stuff is they don't want to deal with anything serious or mature or adult. They want to deal with they don't ever want to go beyond high school or beyond like this kind of 1950s-ish high school where nothing bad happens. Nobody's that bad. Nobody's that evil. And it's all just a bunch of, the villains are kind of comical and there's not a lot of like legitimate evil in the world, and everything works out in the end, as opposed to having to deal with me. Because that's what, Hallmark Channel movies are just porn for women in their 30s who are looking to find their beta bucks boy and they're, after, they've done their marketing thing and.
Right. Yeah. I think you should look for one, TJ. Go for yourself a girl boss, got lots of money,
Have you been on Tinder lately? That's all there is right now.
All there is what?
Girls looking for their beta bucks, daddy
warbucks. Dude, dating apps are going to die within like 4 years.
They're already kind of dead, aren't they? I mean, no one's using them anymore. Their stock prices tanked.
Well, that's probably because we could talk about all the problems with them, but like, holy shit, like they what they do is they burn. Ryan Stone made a good description of it. They burn the oil fields. They just sap as much as they can out of like men until men realize it's a scam, and then it just collapses. Because once men realize, dating app, you're gonna pay money, and all you're gonna get is a bunch of AI robots and algorithm shit. So like, no. So, but that's
single moms looking for a handout.
Yeah. The other thing is like with AI, it's gonna churn out with literature. It's gonna churn out a bunch of shit that's gonna be, unreadable, and they're just gonna try and market it. Same thing, and it's like, hey guys. this wasn't a book written by an actual human who didn't use AI to do his work for him. You know, like all this was just written by a guy using nothing but maybe a little bit of historical knowledge and some just insight and doing a little bit of planning. But I didn't have an AI answering questions for me while I was working. So,
well, I've had a couple clients ask me about dating apps and where they're, because there's been some very entertaining articles about the collab. Everyone, like, people hate the IRS, they hate car dealerships, and they hate dating apps. And the one thing I observed about dating with the numbers I saw, like it's been a treasure trove of data when they release it and you get their access to their database and everything. You can't have dating apps if there ain't no dates. you got to get the occasional data in there, and there's so little dating going on through these dating apps.
yeah.
You're the I'd say about 85% of your client base is leaving because they're not getting dates.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I've kind of had a theory, and I don't have a full way to explain it because it's so difficult to summarize in the amount of time that people want to hear it. I'm convinced, at least for people in the upper class, within the next 15 years, you're not going to see it, but it's going to happen, is a very soft form of arranged marriages where they're going to say, hey, I've got an 18-year-old, 19-year-old daughter. I'm going to get her a job at the yacht club as a receptionist or work at the desk. And hopefully some other guy who's also a yacht club member has a son that age, and they can chat and get married, and she's not going to have to go through the whole dating horror shit, right?
Mm.
Or she's going to get, I'm not going to let her go to college and get a worthless degree because I don't want to spend all that money. And I don't know. I just wonder if that's going to be the future of people who are high enough IQ to realize, hey, this has been a complete disaster. I don't want my children or my son going through this. So
that would, no joke, kind of along Pilgrim's Progress, that would make a great future dystopian book. Maybe not kind of the science fiction post-apocalyptic type, but just as a commentary about how bad things are about to get or already are. I think that'd be like if arranged marriage came to America, where the elite classes were arranged because they're, maybe dads wake up or something and there's actual fathers involved.
Well, and that's where I get this is where I get really cynical, where I'm like, does anybody actually have the intelligence does anybody, I think the problem is with people who don't need their children, and this is kind of goes back to my story in the anthology. Outpost Dare was kind of inspired by this idea that, like, if people don't need someone, they don't even act in their own self-interest in that regard. And so it depicts a settlement or an outpost on a very hostile planet where everybody on in that outpost is needed for something. And so everybody treats each other relatively well. Whereas in our society, if you're a guy who has tons of money and you got a retirement account and you got savings, you really don't need your children to take care of you when you're old, because you can just hire a bunch of third worlders to take care of you in your senior living center when you're 95 years old and you're still popping Viagra, along with your, little
Filipina maid or bar assistant or whatever.
It's almost like it's not just high IQ guys; it's people who want their family line to extend beyond their children. That may occur with Gen Xers and maybe with millennials. With boomers, no. They think it's funny that the idea that their genetic line is dying with them or their children. They think it's funny. They think it's cute. It's like
you give them too much credit. I don't think they even think. I think they're so busy dealing with their own crises, namely financial. They haven't thought about such esoteric or long-term thinking things.
And this is probably selection bias. I don't know a lot of boomers who aren't very wealthy. I just don't know a lot of them. And granted, I live in Western Washington, which is like, just wealth is everywhere. Not everybody's wealthy, but like there's the older generation, because it's like people I know who bought homes back in the 60s in San Jose. They bought them for pennies on the dollar, and then they bought multiple homes, and then they sold them for millions of dollars, 10, 15 years ago, and made a fortune, like that's a retirement. and they didn't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. It just happened, you know. So
Well, which leads me even to my point. They never had to like think about struggle or strife or like.
and that's the problem is I wouldn't hold any of that against them if they acknowledged that they didn't have to think a lot. But a lot of them especially when they get older, they get arrogant. They're like, they start kind of trying to pontificate and say, hey, this is what I did, Sully, when I was your age. We figured it out this way. We just pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps. It's like,
Get off my internet lawn.
Yeah.
That makes me want to ask Cappy, like, what happens next when the boomers start to actually die off? Like, economically, what will happen?
I looked at, I mean, you mean a transition wise, or like when the last boomer dies, what's it going to look like?
Yeah. Both. Fuck it.
Well, the transition is going to be only about a third of boomers got enough to retire. So you're going to see a lot of boomers working until they're dead. So that's going to continue the slow log jam, slowly unjamming itself so that previous generations might get up there. And that's already happening now. They're going to die off. There's going to be the nursing home. And I'd say the average boomer is about 72, 73 now. In 15 years, they're going to be gone. More like 10. I mean, the majority of them will be gone in 10. Let's say 15. For the boomers to be, more or less over. I mean, there will be some older boomers still alive. But you're going to see a lot of reverse home mortgages. You're going to see a lot of boomers working late. Thankfully, to their lucky advantage, the younger generations aren't working, so wages are up. So you can actually make some pretty good money as a boomer right now, kind of doing anything. You're looking at $30, $35, $40 an hour if you got any experience in anything. So I think they're going to work. There will be some nursing home, but not as much because they're, out of all Americans adjusted for age, they're in the best shape. But after some financial pressures of paying for their Social Security and especially Medicare, they'll be gone. And then what will happen is there will be a significant wealth transfer that will have also been happening as these baby boomers are passing away. Of those that actually do have genuine wealth, passing on to a much smaller class of heirs, whether it be their Gen X children or millennials, of which I would say neither, in all honesty. Obviously, Gen X better than millennials, are going to manage the money well. I think they're just going to piss it away on material things. And then I don't think any of that's going to really get down to Zoomers, younger millennials, and definitely not Generation Alpha. And so there will be kind of like a roaring 20s, maybe not to the extent of the roaring 20s, but there will, as that inheritance comes down. This, by the way, assumes that there isn't a collapsing dollar. I think, and the pressures coming off the federal budget to, basically digest this big ass turd that we have in our digestive tract, which would be the baby boomer generation in terms of how much money they're going to consume in Social Security. So government finances might improve.
Okay. That's what I was kind of hoping that you'd say, is like the Social Security would probably correct itself, even though I know I will never see it.
You're going to see it. It's just that your check won't buy anything, kind of like welfare people today. They get their EBT cards and all that, but good luck. What does it buy you now? Really, with inflation on rent and.
I just went to the grocery store today and I spent $140 on 2 pounds of hamburg, 18 eggs, some butter, yogurt, cottage cheese, sour cream, regular cheese, a little bit of fish, and some frozen veggies. That was like $140 and a roast.
Will that last you a month about, or what?
That'll last me about 2 weeks.
If you want your dollar to go a little bit more and be more nutritious for you and better, seek out a local cattle farm.
Oh, I got plenty of those. I'm right outside Fort Worth.
Get yourself, if you've got a good freezer, get yourself a quarter, half a cow. Get your eggs. I get all my eggs from the farm. I get my meat from the farm. I don't like sausage. I just never really been a huge breakfast sausage person. I just don't like it. My girl picked up chicken sausage from the farm, and I tried it, and it was a completely
different animal.
different. Yeah, like holy shit, this actually tastes good compared to commercial
Johnsonville brats.
yeah, disgusting shit. So yeah, get if you can. Anyone who's out there now who knows what I'm talking about, knows I speak the truth. If you can buy from a local farm, source from a local farm, even places that are maybe next state over that will ship to you, please, for the love of Christ, do so.
Just because it's better and cheaper, or what?
It's not pumped full of hormones. The animals are treated more humanely. They have more room to move around. The eggs, if you look at an egg that's laid by a farm chicken, you go to the farm and get it. They're larger, but the shell is more, it has more structural integrity. Like when you crack it, it doesn't break apart and brittle. You get pieces of egg in your fucking mixture. It cracks and the egg, the yolk, and just falls out. And the yellow is a nice, deep yellow. It just looks, it's healthier. It's much healthier than the commercialized eggs.
I do spend the money when I go to Kroger to shop. I buy a certain brand of eggs there, and I do get their cage-free and grain-free eggs, and it's about I want to say it was $6 for 18.
Yeah.
So.
It's much cheaper. It's better for you. I guarantee you, you're gonna completely change your mind. Even down to the ground beef.
Yeah.
It's so much more flavorful, dude. I'm serious. Spend your money. Look for a place nearby. If you can't drive to it, have it sent. You'll be amazed. You'll be pleased, and your financial status will also increase as far as what you're spending weekly or monthly on your grocery bill.
What the fun part was for when I was grocery shopping, because I'm like, I like mayonnaise. I like it on my sandwiches. I like it on things. It is so hard to find a mayonnaise without fucking soybean or canola bean oil.
Oh yeah,
I found one. Yeah, I'm probably gonna start making it myself. But I actually found one. It was fucking $10 for a little can of mayonnaise that was avocado based.
Yeah, it's not even what it says it is, and
but
not for nothing.
It's got real egg in it. But the number one ingredient is avocado oil. Then egg yolk was number 2.
Exactly, and not for anything, not for nothing. You can make your own butter easily.
Yeah, butter's easy.
You whip cream. That's it. Make your own fucking butter, gentlemen. Make your own butter. Salt it. You're fucking done.
That butter you brought to Gettysburg, that shit was bomb.
That's my girl made that. Yeah,
that was good.
She also made the croissants, which fortunately TJ was very disciplined and did not eat all of them. She made 6 regular and 6 cinnamon. It's eating the cheesy poofs. There you go.
That's all he was eating. Like, you'd go walk out there and be like, "There's TJ, maybe a little tipsy. Now he's fucking just munching on the fucking cheese poof."
Cheesy poof.
I'm sorry. Are we not supposed to like that stuff?
That stuff is awesome. Yeah, and that huge fucking pizza was like
29 inch. 29 inch.
It was like
a 29-inch pizza.
It was amazing.
It to the door.
It hardly. We had to like tilt it sideways to get through the door.
Was it delivered?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What was the name
fantastic.
of the place? What was the name of the place?
It was someplace right outside Gettysburg. It was just right outside Gettysburg on the main thoroughway coming into Gettysburg.
Probably on 15. Yeah.
Wait, is the name of the pizzeria Hills and Trees Pizza?
No.
It's Forest and Swamps.
Forest and Swamps.
Yes.
Could you imagine? Okay, hear me on this. Okay, if we had the talented Jerry Lewis with us still alive today, wouldn't it be great if he did a Civil War skit where he played both like a captain in the Confederacy and a captain in the Union? Wouldn't that be just awesome?
That would be great to see that. I would pay many times over to see that. Hoyle, Freundleben, don't with the loud cannon, make with the small whisper talk.
Like saluting and everything.
Like awesome. That, yeah. He's all burnt and got the powder burns on him and shit.
And there'd be like some kind of comedy skit where he's like with fucking, General Lee.
Right.
And he's just pissing General Lee off with his like he's trying to like
he's like Gomer Pyle. Yeah.
Huh?
He's like Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, he's
like a Gomer Pyle type.
Can't polish the shoes right or so. It'd be great.
He's like
Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
Yeah, General Lee's aide de camp.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenally funny. You should actually write that.
We need Jerry Lewis. Really,
Gosh.
who could act like him?
I don't know. Shit, who could we get as a stand-in for Jerry Lewis? That's a good question.
No,
I can't think of anybody.
There is no colorful actors there's no Milton Berles, there's no Jerry Lewis.
There's no slapstick guys anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, even Walter
With the style and
Matthau,
grace.
style, character, depth, even if it was goofy, I mean, you can't find anyone like that.
Jerry Lewis just seemed like he had a lot of fun doing what he was doing.
That's like a lot of those old comedians did too. Like, or go back and watch like old George Carlin. Like, he was having a blast telling you how fucked we are.
Did you guys ever see? Was it The Greatest Race Ever?
Is that the one with all the actors?
It's a crazy. Well, there's been several. There's like Cannonball Run,
Mad World.
Mad World. Is that the one where they're trying to find the treasure?
Treasure,
over in
yeah.
Yeah.
They try to find the treasure, but nobody gets anything at the end. They all fuck.
Right. Or that or Cannonball Run 1 or 2.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Cannonball Run, Chad, go watch Cannonball Run. That's amazing. There's nothing like that anymore.
You couldn't fill half that staff now.
No.
Show me the colorful actors now.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris
we're gonna
Pratt,
bring this back to the MG Pulp anthology. Our stories harken back to an older time. We're bringing back that old style of writing. It's going to be fucking amazing. But anyway,
right,
yeah,
but
you're right.
The pulp was. There was that genre of super fun movies in the 70s and the 80s where it's like, let's just get a Caddyshack.
They were very pulpy, and they were very pulpy. They were very pulpy in their delivery, as far as like
action and sequence.
Yeah, there was no
backstory. Just go right into it.
Yeah, there was no exposition. You were just dropped into the story.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, just nothing but action.
So Kathy, speaking of books, are you working on anything new?
Yeah, I'm halfway done with my newest book called Zero World Problems, and it's basically a book on post-material economics or post-materialism economics, where you have first world problems. What's that?
Holy boring Batman.
Anyway, Mr. 6.9 millionth place.
Put a hot woman on the cover. That's the solution to every book cover problem. Put a hot girl on the cover, and guys,
just put some tits.
I might just do that if I can fit it in. But what it is basically we've come to a point, or a significant percentage of the population has come to a point that another $100,000 isn't going to make them any happier or wealthier, and they get depressed. We need to figure out something after wealth materially to pursue. And then in that process, there are other things to pursue that will also lessen your demand and requirement for current day wealth. And so I've gone through all these new standards of living that I've discovered either personally or have seen or witnessed, and saying that's what you should be fucking aiming for, not a fucking Mercedes or something else like that. It goes well beyond minimalism and kind of gives people goals and objectives. Like, this is what you should, like, for example, one of the higher standards of living would be having no schedule. That's one I've personally experienced. If you don't have a schedule, it is so liberating and drastically improves your standards of living. It is just wonderful. I will get up and do what I want when I want. I got to do stuff. There's work to do, but I'll do it when it's optimal for me and no one interrupts you.
Welcome to my life, Yost.
Yep. There's no get here at this time. Oh, your boss mismanaged resources. Then I'll sit on your ass for 3 hours and do nothing. Like, no, like having a full free. And I even get pissed when people, like my mom, who loves me, I think, she's like, oh, what are you doing on September 22nd in 2027? Like, it aggravates me. It's like, ask me the day before. You know, like, I don't want to schedule out 6 months. I don't want to worry about anything. You get up and you don't have to be anywhere. That's a hell of a lot better standard of living than, say, someone with a brand new Lexus SUV or whatever currently is going for high standards of living now.
Yeah. That's kind of.
I don't mind my schedule. My schedule's pretty legit.
But if you get to the right job in the right place, you can attain that before you're 40. You know, and that's going to do a lot more for your standards of living than, you know. In other words, let's say you make 60 grand a year, but you manage your life more correctly, and you got certain key things in place and rules. you could just the standards of living, your especially your mental peace and contempt. What's the word I'm looking for? Contentedness
Contentment.
goes up way more because of things that have nothing to do with materialism.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Happy New Year, gentlemen. What are you drinking, TJ?
Whiskey and ginger beer.
Nice. How about you, AJ? Got your,
I am drinking a wild watermelon bang.
Oh, okay. And Aaron, you're just what you got over there?
I had a Breve. My girlfriend bought a new Italian espresso machine, and it does all the shit.
Oh yeah.
So she made me a Breve. It's like froofy. It's got 2 shots of espresso and then heavy cream. And she's got that froofy device that makes it all foamy.
Oh, that like almost like a cappuccino.
Yeah, I don't know all the different Italian things. And then she's trying to get her artwork down. So she's, like there's a little leaf in it or something like that. So.
Oh, okay. It's just straight up, almost like you're saying, an espresso.
Yeah. Well, it makes espresso and it has a frother and.
Okay.
It was one of those deals where she wanted it, and she's like, "Oh, let's learn it together." I'm like, "I'm not learning a single damn thing. You figure
Make it
out
for me."
Yeah, you're gonna make it for me. I didn't ask for this. I go to the coffee store.
In your coffee, do you put sugar or do you like honey or do you any kind of
No,
sweetener?
I'm off. No, I don't do any sweetener. I'm pretty strict in my diet. So there's really no sugar. I will occasionally put honey in my oatmeal.
That's
just
good,
a little bit, yeah. But I also mix that with protein powder. So
yes,
to it sucks getting old. You got to eat all the right things, and
you do.
Yeah, so I got to be healthy and shit.
Recommend if you want to have a little bit sweeter coffee, put a little bit of maple syrup in it, like actual maple syrup, not that fucking fake corn syrup bullshit. Like get some shit out of Vermont or Canada.
Vince, did you ever start doing that? Not eating, fasting.
Fasting.
Yeah, remember you had your scare, and then you're like, "I'm gonna practice fasting anyway." Have you practiced that much?
Oh, I fast every day.
Okay, so it's like intermittent fasting.
Intermittent every day. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't eat breakfast. I eat lunch around 12, 1 o'clock. I do not eat anything after 7, 8 o'clock.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
I do pretty much the same thing. I will not. I'll have coffee in the morning. I will not eat until about 3 or 4. I will have one of those Breves though, like 1 in the afternoon, just to kill the hunger until later.
Yeah.
And then I will eat a healthy dinner.
Okay.
And that's kept me around like 150, 152.
Nice.
TJ, can you afford food or no?
Can you afford food?
I can afford food. I can afford many luxury items that I enjoy.
Okay.
The whiskey and ginger beer is case in point.
Okay, I'm not going to go into this a whole lot, but like the whole, guys spending money on women, I don't get that. I don't spend money on any girls that I see, or that I spend time with. So I can spend that on other things because they don't care. So that's kind of where it's like, it's funny how some girls will say they don't want any gifts or they don't want anything from you. I'm like, okay. All right. Thanks. That means I can spend that. I can get a really nice bottle of port from a seller that's about to. I'll show it to you.
Well, all 3 of us. None of us are married or have kids, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me like, "Well, how do you do it? Like, how can you just work whenever you want? Why are you in such a good financial position?" Like, because I didn't have kids, I didn't get married.
I mean,
no joke.
Shit.
Yeah, and I didn't buy stupid shit. But you do those 2 things for 3.
Oh yeah.
No marriage, no kids, and don't buy stupid shit. It's going to be hard to be poor.
What is it? A
Verbs chilled cum. What? When you open it up, hang on, TJ. When you open it up, do you hear Rob going, "Yeah, yeah," like a Rob orgasm?
No, I would hear him say, "I'm no one's guru."
Right.
Yeah, this is a 12-year-old port.
Have it hooked up to some little electronic MP3 player. And every time you open it up, it's like a Chatty Cathy doll, but it's like one of Rob's Robisms of wisdom. You know, if you wipe your ass left-handed when you're really right-handed, you get a little more. You get poo out of different wrinkles in your
Aaron.
anus holes. Yeah.
Aaron, we just got a $10 super chat. Would you
Oh.
like to read that for us?
I shall. Exalted example for 10 generous dollars. Followed Cappy from his last stream. New sub. The pulp you guys are talking about. Is there an audio book available? I'm a network engineer. Generally only read things that make me more money.
No.
Well, alas, no.
We're not going to make you more money reading our. Oh, we're going to pay you.
Yeah, the pulp anthology will be entertaining for you.
Yeah.
A audiobook somewhere down the line, I was thinking of that, but audiobooks are very expensive, so we'll see what happens.
So, two things about the Audible books. One, Amazon now has AI and will read your Audible books pretty darn well. Now,
That's-
with a creative goal that you guys have with your Pulp Fiction paperbacks, I don't know if it'll be high quality or tailored enough to you, but I've taken a couple of my books and turned them in like that. It takes a minute to convert it to an Audible book.
Okay.
So there are some natural drawbacks to it. So that's maybe one thing for you, but I think you'd lose a lot with the.
Can you imagine him using AI? Where
Well, it's just in a pinch. Like if you can't afford it.
No, let me finish. An AI that uses Rob's voice to narrate.
Oh God!
Hey guys, and
it was the best of times. It was the
Aaron's,
worst.
Aaron's
of times.
audiobook is just the word "and" over and over again.
That should be your next book. Your first audio.
But anyway,
So,
Thank
that's
you.
the-
And
Exalted
like First
thing I
example.
wanted-
Exalted
So-
example. Thank you for that.
that was the first thing I want to say about the Audible book for
Yeah.
Exalted. But Exalted, don't worry, they are going to turn it into an Audible book. The second option they have is to have TJ read with that fine, echoey, $12, bought it at Goodwill, fell in a pool microphone he's got going on there,
there's no
where he sits
microphone.
8
That's
feet
the
back
kicker.
from the thing.
That's the kicker. There is no microphone.
So Exalted, if you love saying what, huh? Then TJ will read the book.
So,
That's fucking funny.
yeah. Anyways, this seller is going out, so I might as well just show it. So I just got it the other day. This is another one.
All right. So what is that? It's a port.
This is the 12-year port
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
and this is their red table wine, which is one of my favorite red wines. And they're not going out of business, but they're selling the cellar. So this is basically the last of what they have. So
Oh,
it's kind of the last sale. So this is going into the my little storage unit. But yeah, this is what happens when you don't have to spend money on your girls or any girls for that matter. Because
I don't mind if you find the right one. I really enjoy taking my woman out to just the occasional nice dinner, like where we dress up. Because what use do you have to dress up? Do any of you guys dress up for anything anymore? I don't.
Kevin, this
I
Yeah,
dress
go out
up every
dancing.
weekend.
so
Wait, you go dancing, AJ?
Yeah, I just go out and party dance.
Oh,
That's-
party. Okay. All right.
Like,
Kevin, that's kind of the problem.
I'm-
Like girls, you want to. You can say you want to do that kind of stuff or like go do fancy stuff. This is what's crazy and it's kind of blowing my mind. You can say, hey, I want to take you out and spend a bunch of money on you. And they look at you like you've got antlers crawling out of your ears. That's what
Right.
blows kind of my mind. It's like they get really uncomfortable with the idea of you doing stuff for them. And it's weird. I don't know. I don't.
That's a them problem, right? All I'm pointing out is occasionally, back in the day, it was nice to take even a girl that you didn't know. It was nice to take a girl and put on a suit and a tie and go to a jazz club. It was, and it is nice today because I have a gal.
All right.
Yeah. So, Cappy, I live like 15 minutes from the stockyards, Fort Worth stockyards. So,
Okay, yeah.
Like when I have, because I work every other weekend. So every once in a while, maybe once a month, I'll go out, spend $20 on my parking, pull out $40 because I don't drink, and just go have a fun time. Pick up a little bit of line dancing here and there, but I'm not like out like Nuke going friggin'
Salsa dancing. Have you gone
Oh,
dancing with Nuke? Have you ran into
would-
him?
So it's funny. It's like we've lived in the same area because I drive by his place like every day I go to work.
No
But
shit.
we've never actually ran into each other. I am halfway tempted, and I think Vince also has advised me not to do it, but Nuke wants to learn how to ride a bike, motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
I'm like, I can let him learn how to ride on mine. I got a
No,
little-
you don't let him learn to ride on yours. No. You have him. You
Yeah,
have him
Vincent.
take the class. You have him take the class
Yeah.
and dump the bike that the class offers.
yeah.
Because he will dump your fucking bike, dude. Not
TJ,
because
do you have any words of wisdom to beginning motorcycle riders? Any do's or don'ts you might have? in mind?
How's your elbow, TJ?
It's doing well. I'm lifting as well as I ever have. So I
Okay,
recovered, but-
so you scraping up your elbow in the motorcycle accident didn't impede your lifting progress.
No.
Okay.
And anyways, I mean, my advice would be, well, during the instructional course, just wear good gear. You're not going to go too fast. But when you're actually going on a motorcycle, get insurance and get proper gear. Actually, and if you have your own bike, the best purchase you can get is one of those bars that you install on the side. So if your bike you will drop your bike at some point.
You will.
When you do, if you have a bar, it's gonna hit so that your bike doesn't hit the ground and you don't hit the ground. So the only damage is to the bar, which is $100, not to your bike, which costs $1,600 to replace or fix, on a bike. Mine was brand new, and then you don't end up in the hospital. So
Mhm.
nice, because if I'd had that when I did my first,
Yeah, that photo you sent me is disgusting.
Yeah.
It was gross.
I've been
So-
My
fortunate
favorite
to-
was the different riding styles of all the different masculine geeks, where you had a normal bike, and then Rurb had a normal bike. You had some like pink flamboyant thing, and then TJ was doing an off. He was like in the middle of a jump, but the wheels fell off.
That was
And then
pretty funny when you
So
sent
we
that
put
photo.
Jack Napier with a Down syndrome kid riding a tricycle. That was the best.
So
was
kind of funny, Cappy. Both you and I have ridden the same bike.
VTX or the Saber?
No, when I was out visiting Thor, I rode Missy's bike.
Oh yeah, the exact same bike then. Okay, yeah.
We both got on the same bike because went out there and visited, and Thor's like, they haven't been ridden in a while, and me and Glenn just freaking went out there and ripped him.
Yeah. Well, those bikes do need to be ridden regardless. I mean, you probably did them a favor just, keeping the engine
Yeah.
fresh and all. What kind of, you said you're doing the line dance and all that. Do you go out like two-step, foxtrot, country, swing, or what are you?
It's kind of like a country two-step, or they call it Texas two-step out here. So they'll actually take like the stuff from two-step and like just regular Texas dance and apply it to even more modern songs. So you'll
Okay.
see everybody like line up and start doing like the whole step, 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 step,
Mm.
back, back, back kind of stuff. So it's kind of cool. And then if you're partnered up, then yeah, there'll be little twirls here and there.
TJ, you should get in the ballroom swing dancing, salsa dancing circuit with all the hairy armpitted women of Seattle. I think you could lead by their armpit hair. I think that'd be.
Like I've done quite well with swing dancing. I've got some good videos.
That's right. You did go to that hanger dance, didn't you?
Oh, dude, I had a blast. It was so fun, and it was.
It looked really cool, yeah.
It was. What was nice about it is like it's an environment where just the culture of that era and everything. Where, I remember I was hanging out, and this one woman came up and said, "Hey, there's that redhead over there. She looks like she's looking for somebody to dance with. You should go up and just grab her hand and dance with her." I just went up, ran over, and grabbed her hand and said, "Let's dance." And she just giggled and laughed, and we had a good time. So it was like, I mean, I feel like guys, that's just what guys need. They just need to be in an environment where they know that if they're being assertive or taking initiative, they're not gonna have someone like freak out and have an emotional breakdown. So it was, nice to like be in Sanityville for 5 hours, as opposed to over here where you have to be in very specific rant over.
Yeah. Hey, I'll give my ex credit. She was from the Seattle area, Gig Harbor to be more specific. She at least shaved her armpits. She might have shaved her head twice, but she did shave her armpits.
The problem with this area is it's not that kind of stuff. Like I've known girls who are feminine looking and they groom themselves feminine, but their mind is androgynous. Like at best. Like
Mhm.
they can look feminine, but man, when it comes to like interacting with them, they think and talk and act like a man. And it's like people are like, one chest to roll out. I'm like, that's a man in a woman's body. Like you're dating a tranny, you know? You know, like you're dating a spiritual tranny, you know? She may be a technically biological woman and she may look like a woman and she may dress like a woman, but the way she acts and behaves, she's a man. You know? Like Austin Powers. It's a man, man. So, anyways.
Meh.
I'm looking at Cappy's tag name. I have questions.
Dick and Vince.
It's always something.
What now?
Screenshot it now. Screenshot it.
What, Dick and Vince and TJ's asshole? What?
Okay, this completely unrelated. Cappy, you remember that time I sent you a photo of Cappy's trucking from Seattle? You probably don't. It was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I got my car towed accidentally, and I had to go pick up the car, and they had all these trucking hats in this glass case, and one of them said, and I still have the photo, Cappy's Trucking from Seattle. And I was like, can I have that hat? Because I want to send it to my buddy. And like, no, it's from the 80s and we're like old timers. And I tried to find a copy of that hat online. I could not find it. Because I know you would have liked it. You would have been able to walk around.
Not only because I've done this for a fair amount of my art. You could pretty much, if you can remember the image or search the image, you get a picture of it and find a large enough image on the internet, you could put it on almost anything and recreate it.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Like I got a shirt for my old man where it says, it's got the John Wick image, and you may have seen it, and it says, because John Wick didn't kill all those people over a Camaro. All right. And so I've seen those shirts before, but they suck. They're just the text. So I found a vector image free image of the John Wick silhouette and put a Mustang silhouette on it. And so I got these two really cool shirts. And I sent one to old man Rollo because he's got a Camaro. He thought it was funny. But yeah, if you have the image, you could just recreate it, because by the time you're done dicking around finding an original, like
That's cool.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense. I'll keep that in mind.
it does.
Hang on, I got an answer. And you guys know Homath?
Oh,
I've heard the name.
He just
he's the black pill nuke. That's what I call him.
is he? I think he's more a mathematician guy. I think he's got a girl too.
He spreads a lot of the
What's his name?
doomer, or the black pill doomer nonsense.
What's going on?
Homath is a large channel. I had a couple exchanges with them, a person, friendly ones, before he blew up. Then he blew up, and I'm like, hey, I'd love to run ads on your channel. And he's like, well, given my traffic, I think it's worth about 16,000. I'm like, I can buy so many better Bachelor ads for that.
Right.
And so, but anyway, so he texted me, and he has I got a counting question, so I got to respond back to him here. Give me a second.
$16,000 to answer his question.
Really, Dickin? Okay, yeah, is it? Okay.
I could say Dick and Great One's ass, but it's probably true. How's he doing, by the way?
Hang on. There, that's as good as I could get. He's doing great. He's found stable employment, got promoted. Colorado fucked up their economy so bad during the disease that a lot of that migrated to South Dakota and Nebraska and surrounding states. And here's how good he's doing. He ended up working in the same industry as he did down in Colorado. His bosses in South Dakota sent him down to Denver to bid on the bankrupt assets of his previous employer because they were liquidating him. I'm like, balls, man. That is fucking balls.
That is good.
So he went in and bought all the exact same equipment he used for like pennies on the dollar and brought it back up to his new employer. Yeah, so he's doing well. And he has a very good side gig, which I will not say what he does, because because he doesn't want people to know, but it's a very good side gig. And I guess it made him a little bit more money than he was expecting because now the man has too much work. Beforehand, he was a great friend. He worked maybe 20, 25 hours a week, kind of like TJ. And now he's an adult. He like works 50, 60 hours a week.
Oh, okay.
And you don't see him no more, even though he like doesn't live that far.
I sent
away.
him an email to try to get him on MG, but he ignored me.
I'll text you both. Well, maybe he doesn't want his number given out.
No. You don't have to. You can email us both.
Dude, you drunk texted it years ago. It's over.
That's
I had his
probably
number
true.
for years. I've never
Okay, all
used it. Like it's like that night you drunk texted us about Doctor Strangelove.
Oh yeah, no, I was hammered
that
on
drunken rant. Jesus Christ! How many times we've been recipients of Aaron's drunken rants?
Oh god.
I've saved every one of them.
That would make a great YouTube video.
Actually, it would. Yes. You get
Episode
fucking
of
text
Aaron's
from
drunk
Aaron
rant.
like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, what
Hey,
the
good promotional video right there.
Hey, Vince, you got Facebook?
He asked me the same question like 9 fucking times. You got an email address? I can say you're using the
I'm
email
gonna
address.
respond to this.
Dumbass.
You guys get it all out of your system. You can all have fun.
What did you think, Sharon? TJ's what? Bubbly boy Bell.
My God. You're all
Jesus Christ. The good thing is I can change all these. Well, yeah, this is the most viewers we've had. Thank you for watching, by the way, if you
Yeah.
are paying attention to
We've
anything
been
we're
having
saying.
fun.
Yeah, this is a fun gathering. We got 39 watchers on Twitter. I refuse to say X. It's Twitter. And 17.
I thought you called it twatter.
I usually call it twatter or tweeter, twattering, tweetering, twatting, twatter. So we've got 39 on Twatta and 18 on our YouTube channels. Thank you. Consider becoming a member to Masculine Geek on the YouTube channel. It's $4.99 a month, and that will give you access to most, if not all, of our archive videos, and that includes the Dungeons and Dragons games.
That
Which,
right there is
if
worth it.
Oh, it's totally worth it. The games are phenomenal. So you get 30 minutes live for free, and then we shift over to members only. So if you don't like that, I don't care. That's how the cookie crumbles. If you wish to watch the rest of them, that's what you must do. So what are you doing there, Aaron?
Home Math has a question that's finance related, and I'm just getting back to him while I have it here, so I don't forget it. And
Gotcha.
big channel and all that. And I like the guy too. I mean, he does good work. And
right.
he also could loop Chad Elkins. I'm hustling. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing what the kid's doing is the hustle.
The hustle. Okay.
When I come back, I want TJ to explain to me what Riz is. That's what all the kids are talking about. Or maybe AJ's young enough to know what that is.
It's short for charisma. It's short for charisma, and I hate that word. If you say Riz, you're gay.
Okay.
Gay.
Don't say Riz.
Gay.
Charisma.
Cappy, it's what the Zoomers and Alphas call game.
I do not like trendy, short-term kind of euphemistic language. I don't like urban patois. I don't like any of that. If you do any of that, you're gay and lame. You heard it here. If you use the word Riz, you are gay and lame. If you come into the chat and try to be funny and write that word, I will time you out. If you do it again, I will block you. I urge you not to test me on this.
What about the phrase sus? Like,
Do
I want
not
to
say
punch
that.
people.
No,
Yeah, if
no,
I hear,
no.
oh, that's so sus.
Stop shortening words that's going to take you less than a nanosecond to fucking say.
To quote Idiocracy, why are you talking like a fag?
What?
Have you ever seen Idiocracy?
Oh yeah. That's not a line I'm familiar with.
It's like right in the very beginning, like when he's in court and everything, and Dax Shepard's being his lawyer, and he's like, "Why are you talking like a fag?"
Exactly. If you're saying these ridiculous, short-term, truncated words, you're gay and lame. You're a fag, basically.
TJ got it right away.
Baltimore.
Do what?
I said TJ got that right away.
Yeah, yes.
Like, one of the best lines in that whole entire movie is that line, and I like money.
Go away and Baton.
Well,
That
that's
shit
the
went
president-
down just like it did in the TV.
Or the
It's
fact
so
that
long since I've seen that.
the
Yeah, that is a good
president
movie.
calling
It has
out-
been a while.
Have
a
you guys
documentary
seen
now.
Once Upon a Time in the West?
I have not seen it,
I have
no.
not seen that. No.
Have you guys
Yeah.
seen the spaghetti westerns in general?
Oh yeah, yeah.
A few dollars more, a fistful of dollars, and the good, bad, and the ugly.
Watch the two you have to add to that. There are many other more, but the two you have to
Yeah.
add to that is one with James Coburn called Duck You Sucker.
Yep.
It also goes by A Fistful of Dynamite. There's two titles for it. The other one that I would say is a must is Once Upon a Time in the West. And this is how good it is. It is a slowly moving movie, and I loved it.
That's
because, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so well done and it's got Charles Bronson as kind of the main hero.
weird. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Ever since I watched the original Watchmen movie, I kind of hesitant about watching slow movies.
Yeah, I'm with you there. This is about one of the few, like, that's about the only slow movie that comes to mind that I enjoyed, and the only musical I enjoyed was called High Society.
Really?
At Frank,
I have-
yeah, it's
I have
great.
that movie.
What's that?
I have it. I have the movie. Grace Kelly, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Bing Crosby.
Aw. Bing. Oh. Over the bridge.
Revenant was kind of slow, but I enjoyed the crap out of that.
What was that?
Revenant was kind of slow, but I enjoyed the crap out of that. The one that Leo finally won his fucking Academy Award for.
Is that where he had
The bear.
coitus with the bear? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd argue that movie is more about the gun than anything.
What's funny?
I enjoyed it. It was
Tom
really
Hardy
slow.
stole the movie.
What was that?
Tom Hardy almost stole that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Tom Hardy was like one of the better parts of that movie.
I know. Like he's definitely a fascinating character in that movie. Where he's like, you know, he's talking to a young Jim Bridger about like just life stuff. He's like, you know, my dad found God in a squirrel.
AJ, do you have a big following?
No, I'm
Do you
a nobody at this point.
Well, I mean, do you have like a couple thousand or
Nah.
something?
So before I pulled my YouTube, I was at 78.
1,000?
No, 78.
78. Okay.
And then X is the only other place I'm active because I got rid of my Facebook and Instagram for personal reasons, not wanting to deal with family.
Yeah.
Let me check X real fast.
Well, what I'm thinking between you,
212.
me, and Vince, yeah, how much?
212 people.
Oh, we could totally do this. Why don't we do like a GoFundMe and we'll raise like $3 so that TJ can get a microphone so he can hear what the fuck he's saying. TJ, it's gotta be near your mouth. You can't
Dude,
leave.
is that from like
Hit an
Temu?
arm boon. Do you see
Get
this?
the black.
boom
He's got
here,
the black
TJ?
dick microphone. It's apparently popular among you guys.
Hey, I don't
You
need
wish.
a rubber band for it.
You saw the rubber band?
It's
You
not
got-
the rubber
you got-
band that makes it count. You see how close this is? Look,
Yeah.
you used to Rob's
You
dick
like
that
those
close.
black-
Why
you like-
can't you get a microphone that close?
You like
What-
those black things near your mouth, don't you?
Yeah, mine is right here, and I have the gate right at my face, so that when I talk, it hits it.
Yeah. Well,
I
that
am
makes
curious
sense.
now how it will sound
What?
The music's
when
perfect for this.
when he brings it up
I
to
know,
his face. I
right?
think he's
It's just-
reporting to the actual microphone.
Chasing Amy. It's called
Good
Tip
movie.
Wonderful
Good
by
movie.
Dave Perner. It's a fantastic
Chasing
movie.
Amy?
Can you hear
Chasing
me
Amy.
now?
This is the theme. This is the opening credit theme
Oh.
song to Chasing Amy.
Okay, what's that,
Tube of
TJ?
Wonderful.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
A wave.
Oh my
That's
God.
nice. That's yeah.
That's like MSR level almost.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
That's
get
a
that big
million
black
times
dick.
better, man.
That's what she said.
Drop $50 on an arm microphone boom like this. You attach it to your desk. Go to olderbrother.com/donate. You have one?
Yes, I literally have a boom. God, it's probably in my my closet over there.
Is it collecting dust from 2012? Or what is-
It's collecting dust from when I was at my old house.
well, why don't you install it? That's like night and day difference. Like,
All right, I'll install it and I'll make you happy.
Install it.
See?
What was that? Was that Robot Chicken?
What?
The guy like, all right, goodness. Like,
Oh
No, the guy's
know.
talking like this.
Succotash.
It's Sid from Ice Age.
yeah,
Oh,
but there
Captain's
was
talking
another
about
guy
it,
who
too.
did that. It was a claymation where they took action figures and made cartoons.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
you're,
Robot
you're,
Chicken?
talking, you're talking about Robot Chicken with
Okay.
the
Robot
redheaded,
Chicken.
Yeah,
redheaded small cap wearer.
right.
Can't say those words online anymore, else you get canceled.
Wait, what was he really
He's a tiny hat wearer. 'Cause
in
it's
the
based
show
off-
or the voice actor?
I think the voice actor was Seth Green,
Okay,
which, if I'm not mistaken, he is a tiny hat wearer.
well maybe.
Second. Oh, isn't it Captain Sobel who plays him?
No, that's Schwimmer. David Schwimmer from Friends plays
Ah.
That
Captain
dork.
Sobel.
That dork.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of sad is I was starting to read about Captain Sobel's actual life and like what Steven or what Ambrose wrote about him. And I'm like, oh, there was. I mean, I'm not defending the guy entirely, but I'm like, there was a little bit more that he left out of the story, and it's kind of sad because yeah, I just felt it's like, and I'm like, look, man, he didn't do his homework. He made a couple of that, and also he said that Blythe, Private
Yeah.
Blythe, died in Normandy.
didn't.
He didn't. Yeah, I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, how do you make mistakes like this?
Good question.
Anyways, that's kind of where it's like with Sobel. I'm like, okay, it seems like a little bit was not adding up, but again, I get, I get why people don't like him, but other people, did, and also, I don't know. It's kind of sad that like he's kind of portrayed as the villain when he was a little bit more complicated in like what he was trying to do. But at the same time, man, nobody disputes that he was a shitty field commander. You can't be a shitty field commander in combat. Like if you're getting wiped out in war games, that's when you kind of have to go to your CO and say, hey, I'm good at training people. I cannot lead these people into battle. They're going to get massacred. When people are quietly entertaining, like killing you, once you get out into the field, that's when you kind of have to have some self-awareness. So, anyways.
Well, it's killing you as far as your own people, or killing you as far as the enemy? Because like in that case, the enemy's gonna keep you alive.
No.
That guy.
There are members of his own, because
Okay.
his decisions in like war games were so bad, they were getting wiped out and ambushed completely in these war games. And that's where a lot of guys were quietly like, as soon as he gets to the ground, he's gone. Like they're gonna frag him or shoot him or whatever, and nobody's gonna think anything less of it,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's sad is like, I'm sorry, man. Like you can't be a field commander. Soldiers will tolerate a lot of bullshit from their commanders. What they won't tolerate is a guy who is incompetent. This is why Patton got away with a lot of crazy stuff when he was in charge. Like he wasn't incompetent. So
too confident. They killed him.
well, he saw too much. he saw what was going on and he wouldn't shut his mouth. What's funny is there was these times when Eisenhower would come in for like a staff meeting and would say stuff, and everybody was looking at everybody like, what the hell just happened? And Patton would just quietly say, he's going to run for president. Like that's all he would say. He's going to run for president, and he's making military decisions based on the fact that he wants to run for president. So, anyways.
Think about how different it would have been if he actually did run for president and get elected.
Oh, Patton?
Yeah. I don't think the Cold War would have happened.
I don't think Patton had any political aspirations, and that was kind of his
didn't.
whole thing. But that was the problem. Is like he would just say whatever he wanted, whereas Eisenhower was trying to like alter stuff or like change things to make himself look good, and everybody was like, "Why are you doing this?" And Patton just said he's running for president someday. He's trying to like make anyways.
Well, guys, I'm gonna get going to get some dinner before I go to bed. Thanks for having me on.
By dinner
Absolutely.
you
It's always-
mean by dinner you mean black gay guys.
The girlfriend made some like really good wings.
Oh,
Yeah.
And couldn't finish. Dude, she's a cook and a half. It's
no, I know she makes really good cookies too.
That's right. Yeah, you did get some of her cookies. Yeah.
I would like some more if you could find. it
If
hard
you
to
want,
send
we
them.
can mail you some. Do you want those oatmeal chocolate chip ones again, or would
Yes.
you prefer something different this time?
No, the oatmeal chocolate chip are spot on and they're fantastic. And your wife is a great cook.
Yep. No, she's just my mistress. She's not the wife. Let's be very clear here. We
Let's
still have
use,
sex. We are not married.
Let's use Thor's word, consort. He's a consort.
Yeah, the consort. I mean, yeah, I don't like. Well, did I tell you? I'll tell you this. I'll get going. So we're at the cigar lounge, relatively new to town. Thanks, Kyle. And people are like, "Oh, who's this girl? And how long you been dating?" I said, "Oh, we've been dating for about 13, 14 years." And then, sure enough, the old gal asked, "Well, why don't you put a ring on it?" And I said,
Oh,
and
of
without
course, yeah.
without missing a beat, it says, "Because I like sex too much." And all the guys fucking laughed. All the
Because
girls
they
got
know.
pissed off.
They know
and it
because they're not
shut
getting any.
everyone. It shut everyone the fuck up. And now
That's
no
the way
one.
to do
Oh, you can put a ring on it.
Yeah, fuck off.
Like sex too
Yeah.
much. So. All right,
Exactly.
I'll see you homos later.
All right, there, fag. Later on, fag. Jesus.
He changes his name. It's too fucking good.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, yeah, it was a good chat about the anthology.
It was a very good chat about the anthology. So we'll to reiterate, we have an anthology coming out within 2 weeks called the MG Pulp Anthology Book 1. Why Book 1? Because there will be an anthology every year with our work and maybe one or two guest authors as we see fit. So be on the lookout for that. I have an idea to market this one more heavily than we do our own work, just because of the nature of it. So be on the lookout for that. And obviously, we'll let everyone know via different channels what's going on with the anthology release.
We look forward to it.
Thank you. Well, you'll get your signed copy. Don't worry. I'm sure unsigned copies will be worth more, but that's how it rolls.
It'd be worth more to me as signed.
No, yeah, I'm just fucking around. Definitely, yeah. I'll sign it for you. All right, we're going to call it because we are at past the hour mark. We usually like to keep these around an hour, so and it's past my bedtime. So, all right, so Danny Arnold shows up at the end.
He's fashionably late like that.
You son of a bitch! Go back and all right. So this may or may not go to subscribers or members only. So go back and watch it very quickly. We did have fun. It was a blast. Joking and some information was imparted to everyone, but it was just a great gathering as always.
I enjoyed
So,
hanging with Cappy. First
Yeah.
real interaction with him.
exactly, yeah. So it was good for you. And sorry, Danny, you missed the major fun. Anyway, we are going to call it a night. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekends. This Wednesday, we're playing Drew's AD&E campaign. That is, if he does not flake and get sick on us and bail 2 hours before the game starts.
$5 is gonna be sick.
I'm not going to take that bet because I will lose.
I will super chat you $5 if I lose.
All right, fair enough.
I will super chat you $5 during the stream,
That's funny.
and I will be like, "This is for losing." He showed up.
He actually showed up. He better show up. He's had months. It's
What do we got, 6
it's officially been half a year since our last Drew Bay campaign. And that reminds me, TJ, you gonna come back to Rollo's game?
I just let me know when you guys want me back.
All right, so I can hardly hear you, so you're not talking near the mic. I
Let
don't know
me
what happened.
know when you guys want me back.
All right, cool. So we're gonna be finishing the end of this module soon. Probably the next time we play. It would make sense to bring you back in when we start a fresh adventure. So
That
that'll
sounds
probably
good.
be that it would probably be in February. So I'll let Raul know you'll be joining again.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right, everyone. Once again, what is that, TJ?
we can chat later.
Yeah, we can. Well, let's we don't have to do that here. All right, everyone. Enjoy. Until next time, TJ, please, as usual, take us out.
All right, guys. Keep the fires burning. Keep the wine flowing. Keep the lead shooting down range. Don't take anyone nickels. Don't drink all the rum. And tune in to the next episode of Masculine Geek.
That's right.
All men are geeks. Stop denying it, you bastards. And some of us are tabletop role-playing game geeks. Join us for some non-SJW, non-woke, non-PC bullshit, old-school advanced Dungeons & Dragons. At least once per month, sometimes twice, we get together with Dungeon Master Rollo Tomasi and Drew Bay for some dice slinging in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. If you're tired of the woke assholes that abound in tabletop gaming, these sniveling, overly sensitive, easily offended dipshits, then be sure to tune into Masculine Geek Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. We're not politically correct. We're raw, unfiltered, and uncensored Dungeons & Dragons gamers. Get on board, pussies. We're making history. No broads allowed. Get your own game, ladies. Spurgs and tards need not apply.